You know, cooking is fun, but it's even more fun when you know the basics of it. So we came here to the Art Institute of California in Sacramento to learn some of the basic cooking tips, and who better to teach us than the Director of Culinary Arts here, Kathy Griley, my good friend.
Hello.
And today we're talking about food safety, which I know is a big passion of yours because a lot of us are doing it wrong, I think, right?
Well, I just think because people don't really know what they're supposed to do. When we're in the classroom here, we're looking at food safety because we're training our chefs to go out and serve the public. They have a responsibility to serve safe food. At home, I think we just sometimes don't know what we're supposed to do, and some of the basics are just really, really easy to remember.
Okay.
The first thing that we're going to look at here is, and we're going to talk about, is cross-contamination. The two most common ways that food becomes contaminated if it's not cooked to the proper temperature or held at the right temperature, or through cross-contamination. What we're looking at with cross-contamination is the transfer of microorganisms or illness-causing pathogens from one food or surface to another.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah, that's bad. So we have some chicken here, and then we have some vegetables. And these vegetables could be cooked, but we also could use those as ready to eat. So if we are using, say, the same cutting board to cut our chicken, and this one's frozen, but if you have a raw chicken and it's on your cutting board, there could be a risk of salmonella or other types of microorganisms contaminating this chicken. It's a raw food. If you do not wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry this cutting board before you then go to prepare this food that's going to be eaten raw, the contamination from the chicken could then be transferred over to the ready-to-eat food. And once this is consumed, if there's enough of the microorganism, you're going to get sick.
Well, another important food safety tip is learning how to store your food properly. So we're at an industrial refrigerator here, but we are still going to talk about how to store it properly in there.
We are. So you can clearly see we have a specific order here. This is the same order you should use at home. On the top shelf, we have ready-to-eat food. Beautiful cake here. We wouldn't want any of these other items to drip down on this. So this is going to be on the top shelf. The next shelf should be fish. Fish should be cooked to 145 degrees internally before it's eaten. Underneath, we have whole meat and ground meat. Whole meat can be cooked to 145 or 155 degrees, depending on whether it's an injected meat, like a brined ham. This is ground beef. Ground beef needs to be cooked to 155 degrees. Underneath that, we have poultry, which is 165 minimum required internal cooking temperature. The philosophy is that if there's anything in the fish that needs to be cooked to 145 that drips down on below anything that needs a higher required minimum internal cooking temperature, the risk of contamination would be reduced to a safe level or eliminated altogether.
So basically it's a math equation.
It is.
The lower to higher down there. So the
Correct.
chicken on the bottom. Now I see this is frozen, which brings me to my next question about defrosting meat. We shouldn't be doing it just on the countertop.
No.
Who knew?
And most of us do.
Right.
In fact, my husband does.
I love throwing him under the bus.
I'm throwing him under the bus. The proper way to thaw food is actually in the refrigerator at 41 degrees or lower.
Oh.
The frustration at home with that is that you have to plan ahead. And we all have busy lives. We come home, we look to see what's for dinner. Oh, frozen chicken. Okay, so we want to defrost that quickly. There's ways to do that. You can put the frozen item under running potable water that's 70 degrees or lower. You can also defrost in the microwave, but if you defrost in the microwave, you need to cook that food immediately after defrosting it.
Okay.
It's already started to cook in some places if you're defrosting it in the microwave. So technically, pieces of that raw meat could be in the temperature danger zone. If you don't cook that right away, you're taking the risk of those microorganisms being able to reproduce to a hazardous level.
Ew, not good. And lastly here, towels. Now this is something we probably don't even think about, but we should have towels for separate items, correct?
Yeah, and I do believe there's a definite place for cloth towels in the kitchen, but I believe there's a definite place for paper towels as well. Paper towels should be used for hand drying. If you don't have paper towels for hand drying, you should not be using the same towel that you're using to prepare or clean up after your raw meat or your ready-to-eat foods to then dry or wipe your hand.
Well, thanks, Kathy. These tips have been awesome. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know, to be honest with you. So if you like these tips and others on food safety, you can check them all out at our website, californiabountiful.com.